And hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my co-host.
Tank.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. How's it going today, Tank? Long time no see.
Yes, I know. I actually take this as a time that we are really on the other side of things, and I'm very excited about that. And so I've been kind of all consumed with working on the UNC. So that's very exciting. So the UNC network's coming along very well. And, I would say that we will launch surprisingly fast. And we have some incredible content that is already been written, and we're shooting videos that are trying to get things to be as professional a quality as possible. So we're making sure that we have everything together. I had to make some moves and move some things around to get things stored the right way and make sure that we have the bandwidth and capability. And Kim is incredibly well connected, so she's kind of calling in favors and been doing a lot of work. And so I'm excited about that. And we got a couple things that we can't talk about yet. But let me tell you something. This is going to change the way that people see. One of the things is,
You're fading in and out, Tank.
I don't know how to fix that. I'm directly in my home, directly on my headset.
There you go.
I'm not sure what else to do.
Right now, you're sounding good, though.
Okay, now I'm sounding good. Okay, great. Okay, that was it.
Keep going.
All right. So, so a lot of these are, a lot of mainstream topics, right? So the idea with the UNC network is that there's more to the story, right? Now, some of this stuff is really in depth. It has background and knowledge and intel and sources and all types of actual evidence to back this up that no one would even think to put out, to be honest, right? So already, we're going to bring out some things about the whole Biden experience, right, in Ukraine, that are absolutely incredible. With back intel that is going to be amazing, that only Kim can provide. We're going to bring out some things about Cuomo and Cuomo's real agenda, and what he's actually doing, why they're pushing, and extending. The whole governor's board is extending what's happening with the masks and with the whole lockdown, and with evidence to back it up, right? So it will truly be a mainstream source, and you'll see why pretty soon. And it will compete with the other mainstream media sources. And so it's exciting. Really, really exciting stuff. And you know what? And the first time I'm breaking my own rules. We already write the need to done the right way. Certain things we'll have to purchase, some basic things. And Kim, contrary to popular belief, she's so humble for many years, operating out of
Tank. So we're live, right? And as we know with live, we have to go by the seat of our pants. So I'm going to make a suggestion for you because your audio is all over the place.
Okay.
Right.
I will log out and come back in.
Well, I got a suggestion. Why don't you come back in? You can keep this just as it is, but just call me, or let me call you on Telegram, and then I'll put your audio live.
Let's try this first.
Okay, all right. We're gonna try it that way first.
All right, first, how's that?
Much better.
Okay.
Or tremendously.
I have all these high-tech headsets, that I've spent a small fortune on, and the speakerphone on my phone seems to work better. I don't know how that is.
Yeah. Well, you sound really good now.
Okay, good. So basically, with Speak Project and Create Change and all of our respective organizations, we've never raised money for the organization. But for the first time, we are going to try to pull some funds together to because we have to get content that is ready and studio quality because we're trying to compete against the mainstream. So this is it's going to be a big effort to really do that and to make sure that we have all the pieces that we need and to get these things done. And it's some charges that are good. We stacked them up a little bit, and it's going to cost a little bit of money. So, but we're going to move very fast, and I would say, actually, in reality, if we had the funds right now, we would be live in the next 3 days. That's how much progress we've made already. So, but we're probably a week or 2 weeks away from that, but very close. And I can't wait. We are going to drop the biggest intel bomb, the biggest intel interview in history.
Amazing.
Well,
so what is it?
Can't say.
Ah.
Can't say yet.
Okay, it's a teaser. Everyone's officially teased by right now. So.
No, but it's going to be really incredible because it'll change the way the mainstream media has controlled the collective consciousness. Because for the first time, you're going to get the whole story on everything. You're going to get the real stories, and it's going to be based. And everything is going to be a lot like the Speak Project, right? And it's solution-based media, right? And the Speak Project will still have our own segment where we do various things that we do. It'll just be part of that network, right? But it's really we're going to have solution-based news, right? So instead of just focusing on how doom and gloom and how awful things are, it's going to be here's what's going on, and here's how you can fix it, right? But it's going to be supported by sources that are much higher up than what we have done in the past with the Speak Project, right? We're going to be able to really tap into some amazing things. So I'm excited about that. Very excited.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Well, I'm excited, and this is so much happening all at one time. It's really hard to, uh, fish through the amount of information. Who's on what side? Who's a good guy? Who's a bad guy? Sometimes people are, uh, looking as though they're just associating themselves with bad guys, right? And then it turned out, well, there might be just a good guy. They just didn't know, right? So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I saw a Rotten David Steele interview that happened today, or last 24 hours, and it was on Camelot TV, and I was okay. That sounds like Camelot TV sounds kind of like, isn't that what we're kind of setting up? I know it's a different name and everything, but you had Go Camelot, and so. But then I went and checked out the channel, right, Camelot TV, and it's been around for about 4 years. So they had not a lot of videos, and they don't have a lot of subscribers. But I found out, some of the early interviews were with Sasha Stone, and so I'm going, we just cover that on that video that we put over on on BitChute for people to go and take a look, right? Because it would not be able to stay up on YouTube. So again, but so I started listening to this, Rotten David Steele interview, and he was saying all the right things, right? He was saying everything that we say exactly. I mean, everything we discuss, he's saying,
Right.
right?
Sure.
And but that one phrase, that he had, that 8 seconds out of that ITNJ, the International Court of Natural Justice thing, where he said pedophilia is just child love, and then went on about it's not associated with all these really horrible things that they're doing to children. He separated it out. So he's trying to basically create an okay position for pedophilia. A nuanced, section where anyone on this side, oh, those were the really bad guys. Over here, this is just child love. You know, and this is why there's a big problem with this, because it's another way of controlling, the narrative. right, is to jump in and say everything that the people that have been involved with trying to put a stop to this and bring it to everyone's attention to it and try to sway the audience in their direction. And of course, they have all the money behind them, and I always find it funny. He's always raising money with everything he's doing, asking for donations. So,
it's tough. It's tough. These guys, they're, Camelot. First of all, there is a project Camelot, right? It's like a CIA op of some sort, right? That is, that is negative, right? And I know that there's, like different things associated with that, right? So the Guardian of Camelot was given to us as an unincorporated tax exempt association. So we thought, well, this is a good model to use to build, right? Because that way people, you come in, you're tax exempt, it's unincorporated, you're outside the corporate structure. So that's why we used, that's why we started that, right? So that was just a gift. In Camelot, in and of itself, I don't think should have a negative affiliation personally, but unfortunately, there is things out there, that are negative attached to it as well. But but it's interesting with Robert David Steele. It's these guys, they're classic. I talked to a few CIA guys, right? And they're classic like CIA double talk, right? In any one conversation, they can pretty much give you whatever answer you want. They'll give you, So
yeah,
to whoever they're talking to, that's who's important, right? That's what they do. So
yeah.
and I, what, like that the insane thing that Robert David Steele set up. I know he's affiliated with something like the Open Society or something like that.
Open source society.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know the guy, good or bad. All I can say is that one statement he made. Anybody trying to make a window to make these activities acceptable, I can guarantee he's part of the whole meritocracy crowd, right? Talking about
Yes.
what actions have merit.
No. I've heard him talk about meritocracy. I heard him say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, I don't trust any of that. It's just, who decides who has merit? That's what it all comes down to, and they want to decide. So we don't, I have no plan, but the one experience I had with him personally is, we asked him if he wanted to come on an interview because I just want to know who he was, right? And he tried to charge us 25 grand. And I'm like, okay, that's all I need to know. The fact that you are not about the people if you're going to try to charge us 25 grand just to talk to you. Like, you're not that important.
right.
So,
No, no, that definitely says a lot. As soon as you go there, it's what is really behind what he wants to put out there is money, right? And then also, it's also a way that it kind of segregates the people who out that you think have a how to say this, the it's like, okay, the guys that you were saying were going to the White House on the human trafficking, and they've been working on this for a long time, and they came up with an energy drink. It's kind of like it's they're looking for the money side of this because you need the money to move forward, and there is, I mean, we've done a lot without any money, really. And we've definitely have people that have stood up and helped out, and we appreciate all of that. But there's never been it's never been set up to raise money to propel this, right? And when you start, but you need the money. That's why I've always thought it was okay to do is to make a way of creating money, so it self sustains, right? It's self sustainable. So, uh, but when, like you said, he's coming in as a group that can't pay him, he's not going to go on. Right. Well, that doesn't really work. So I've got this queued up for people to take a look at. So this is from May 25th. It's got 6,000 views so far. It's on Robert David Steale via URig, 37,000 subscribers. It looks like his channel. I'm not subscribing, but Let's
Could
play
you
this.
explain what is the relationship? Here's my question between the child trafficking, adrenochrome manufacture, and how this is used to blackmail and to control, uh, Wall Street and also politics.
And judges. Let me start by giving the president very high marks. He did 2 executive orders, one in December 2017, one in January 2020, that are hugely significant on human trafficking. Human trafficking, and particularly child trafficking, underlies every other great crime in this country. Children are now more valuable than drugs for criminal transactions. As best I can tell, toward 8 million children a year are being abducted.
How many?
And every 8 million. Toward 8 million children a year. In the United States, it's 800,000 to a million. All right? This is very serious stuff. And part of the problem is that wars create refugees. And if you look at Hillary Clinton, for example, the Haitian disaster, her friends were in there scooping up children.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Say that.
This is a matter of record.
Yeah.
Now, let me go back to the whole thing of child.
Just to stop it here. Now, again, it's only a minute and a half in on a 6.5-minute interview. Is there anything he just said that is wrong or incorrect?
No.
Even with Camelot TV right over his head, right in the corner, could this be Tank speaking?
I don't cover it, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. What I mean. The same things that we've been saying, right? He's saying right now, and that's why I stopped it right here, just to make that point. We'll continue because it's like this through the entire thing.
Sacrifice, adrenochrome, and so forth. I didn't believe it myself, but Pizzagate woke me up. Is that Pizzagate or Comet Pizza? All of that. That woke me up, and I started looking into it, and I connected with an...
Just a little curiosity. He doesn't know what actually woke him up? He first woke up, right, with either Pizzagate or Comet Pizza, and he doesn't know the difference? Or,
Yeah.
Right, so it's a little odd, right? Right.
Right.
Continue.
An author, a West Point graduate. That's our Sandhurst, I guess. A West Point graduate, Joaquin Hagopian, and with my encouragement, he has written a book to which I wrote the foreword called, and this is free online. Everything I do is free online. My whole point is to try and raise public awareness and so forth.
Your website, robertsteale.com.
No.
But he will charge you 25 grand to go on to an interview.
Right. Which
Right.
apparently Camelot has. Or
yeah, must be. Well, I mean, you can see the. I don't know what this pink thing is around his collar, but he's got other colors on some of the other videos, like a light blue. I don't know what kind of color signaling this is. All right, but the interesting background that he has as well is kind of a. I don't know if this is their home or whatever, but kind of interesting. Oh, okay, it is Camelot after all. All right, here we go.
Of course. RobertDavidSteale.com.
RobertDavidSteale.com. Somebody will put it in the link. Mark, if you could put it in the link, it's our technical division.
Right.
Basically, and they can read about this. This is not something that is a secret to them. If they want to go on to, they can do their research on your website.
And I gotta give Amazon high credit because they haven't censored these books or these chapters. They're also free online. I mean, people who know tinyurl.com just go to Pedo Empire.
Okay.
That's the short URL. But under my encouragement, Joaquin has produced 34 chapters so far, with additional chapters to come. And each chapter documents pedophilia going back into time. This is not new. I mean, the Aztecs and the Mayans were sacrificing children and drinking their blood and so forth. And drinking a child's blood without torturing the child is a known anti-aging device. Peter Steale is on record in the newspaper saying he gets a transfusion of child's blood every day. All right? Now, The question is, what about torturing children? So we have pedophilia, which is child sex abuse. Then we have torturing children to create adrenochrome. And the easiest way I've found to explain this to people is to think about how the Chinese torture dogs. They basically boil dogs alive. And the reason they do that is because it changes the flavor of the meat. And what it's doing is it's pumping adrenaline from the tortured dog into the blood. And that's what's changing the flavor, okay? Now, I have never participated in a satanic ritual abuse act.
So it's interesting. He wants to make this statement.
Yeah, right. I know.
Right. It's just like, oh, this is. Let me just clarify here before we move any further. I have never participated. I mean, why would this be something that has to be clarified? Yeah, you know, is he getting any pressure out there? You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
I've never talked to anyone who has been present at a satanic ritual abuse act, but Joaquin Hagopian has documented hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of links of people who have testified about all of this stuff, which includes things like forcing fetuses to be delivered and eaten on site as part of the ritual. Now, let me stop there and just say that Sidney Powell, I'm a huge fan of Sidney Powell, Mike Flynn's lawyer. I like to say that the only difference between Sidney Powell as a pit bull is that one wears pearls. Okay? She is a monster. And I would like to see her be a Supreme Court justice, because there's no one else in America that is standing up to crooked judges and crooked prosecutors. And by the way, crooked judges are running children into pedophilia by taking them away from their parents, and they're running the elderly to their graves in order to strip them of their estate.
So where's this story come from about the judges, right? This wasn't on the table anytime, right? Who brought the attention to it?
It was us.
Right.
We did.
So Michelle Walker. Yeah, Michelle is the one that's been on this, right? But this way, listening to this, it was as though, he's trying to, he's saying all the things that we've been saying, right? And he wants to steal the audience away, right? So that he can then shape them, right, into wherever they want to direct them, right? The controlled opposition. He's managing and doing damage control for the elite is what he's doing.
Right. It's a sales pitch, right?
Yeah.
Get somebody bought in on X, Y, and Z. You believe in X, Y, and Z, so shouldn't this also be true? It's like, oh yeah,
Right.
That's the kind of thing you do, right? So you gotta pitch around it,
Right.
right?
Right. Exactly. All right. Let me. I'll continue. We've got a minute and a half left.
And the way this works is the elder person is drugged up, then the sheriff takes them away, then the estate is sold, and the judge, the prosecutor, the sheriff, and the doctor all split the proceeds. Okay? Sidney Powell gave a speech recently at a university in which he talked about what was known to have been on the Weiner laptop, which had all of the Hillary Clinton and Huma Abed stuff. And what she said was that what the New York police saw on that laptop caused them to vomit. I cannot overstate.
That's a New York police officer.
Yes, multiple officers.
Right,
Actually, I love the New York police.
Let's just say that again. That's a New York police officer who's seen a few things over the life of being a New York police officer. That's not a cozy job. That's not like a...
What I'm trying to say here is two things. The first is, before the FBI under Obama came in to confiscate the laptop and try to protect Clinton, the New York Police Department copied it. And the second thing I'm going to say is I'm quite confident the President of the United States of America knows all of this in detail.
There we go. All right. I've got one thing to add to that. Basically, it's this little 8 seconds of David Steale Rotten David Steale. Here we go.
Let me say that although pedophilia, which says child love, has nothing to do with the abuse of children.
That's 8 seconds. Don't need to know anything else about Mr. Steale.
And still don't.
And still don't. Yeah. So anyway, so that's one of those things that's really been bothersome about this is knowing what his agenda is really, right? So it's just amazing that the amount of detail that they put into taking over a movement, right? Taking over a group's thing. So they did this with ITNJ, right? They put together this court because there was already a court, right? There was already one that was moving forward, right? And the people were taking action. So they send him in to basically redirect things, to manage it.
Well, for the record, no one would ever confuse Robert David Steale for me.
No.
Confuse me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the main difference between the two of us, right, is he's playing a part. I'm just being myself.
Right.
I'm when we talk about things, when I'm speaking, I believe what I'm saying, and I mean, and I'm convicted in it, right? I'm all about it. You are never going to hear me say, like, somebody invites me on a show, it's like, well, 25 grand up front, to some, little show just trying to really make a difference. It's like, you're kind of obligated just to come on,
right?
And just take your time and say, hey, sure, it'd be my pleasure. Because I don't think of myself as being that important, right? And I don't know why he does, right? Because he, has been a shill for the CIA for all his time.
Yeah.
But that's the difference,
I apologize for making that reference in that way. I just meant the topic.
I knew what you meant. Your point was well taken. It's like, but here he is saying the same thing, right? And that is the kind of thing that just I look at and I'm like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's saying the same exact rhetoric, using the same words. Talking about things that we brought out as if he's part of it.
Right. Especially that part on the judges. That's what really got me. It's like he's just trying to steal away everything. Right? That's his name, Steale, right? So he's trying to steal the topic.
It's a good catch. It's a great catch on your part. It's like, oh, now I'm gonna have to pay attention a little more.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, when the people that don't know, and they're just waking up, right? They're just waking up. They will glom on to what he's saying, and they'll start following him. And in that critical moment, when public opinion has to go one way or another, he will try to tilt it towards pedophilia is just child love. It's okay. Yeah. The new age limit is 12. Right, which is what they tried to basically put into law, I believe, in England. They lower it to age 12 for consent.
Yeah, it's something I don't know what's her name there. The Supreme Court justice she tried to pull off back in the 70s.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, lower. So this is around us, right? And it's been in hiding, and it wants to come out. It wants to be normalized, and it's all for their own selfishness. Right? They want to benefit off of these things, there's so much. I could go on. It's a big tangent. I probably just don't want to go there. But anyway, so I did notice Lisa is living with Lisa is living with us right here in this Zoom call. So I don't know if she wants to chime in.
I'm sure
she does. I originally was calling in just to tell Tank that his volume was still very low, but now that I'm on Zoom, he sounds great. So I think it's just you two. Because Dan was a lot louder than Tank. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully the recording will be better. I don't know. I don't know. Live, it sounds awful. Just so you guys know. Sorry. I mean, no, they're both really hard to hear, but Dan's louder, so Tank, we can barely hear you. So he may want to call, jump off and call back, and maybe that will help. I don't know.
Good. While I do that, you can talk about your show.
Okay. Well, you do that, Tank.
Hey Tank,
Just be
what Tank?
fast about
Call.
it.
Let me call you on Telegram, right? Let me do it, right?
Well,
Because
but,
it's
but it doesn't matter, Dan, if it's not Zoom, right?
oh,
Right? It's not Zoom.
it will be on Zoom because I'll be holding my handheld next to my microphone. So you and everything you say, my microphone will pick up.
All right, sure. I'll call you back. Or call me back on Telegram.
All right, go Lisa.
Okay, so I just wanted to announce we did a show this weekend, or maybe it was Friday. I don't remember what day it is with the holiday. Called Ascension Symptoms. What part are you playing in the Great Awakening? So it was really powerful, impactful show. It was a round table of us four ladies, Shalea and Faye and Lane and myself, and really good, just really good information. And we've got some really great shows coming up, but they're going to be on Living with Lisa, not on Speak Project necessarily. So I'm just letting people know if they want to go to that channel and subscribe. And all the social medias for Living with Lisa, we're going to have a bunch of new shows coming on. And I sent you all that information, Dan, in Telegram. If you want to post it on the link, you can. So that's really
Okay.
all I have. And just to tell you that your sound's awful. So
Yeah,
your sound's not very good.
I spent all this time working on my sound, right? So that working on
Right.
adding some filters and adjustments, and
Well, it looks really good. Your screen looks good and clean and clear, and it looks really good. It just you were both really low volume, but Tank's was even lower. I could really couldn't make out what he was saying. So just wanted to let you guys know.
okay. Yeah,
That's all I have.
that's all. But you got to talk a little bit longer because I'm.
Okay, I'll talk.
Because
Let's see. Okay, I'll just do a shameless plug. So everyone go to the link that Dan will post and like and subscribe to Living with Lisa channel because we're going to have some shows that are some really good ones. We actually have a relationship show coming up with a panel, all different ages, and Tank will moderate most likely. So we've got one on masculine and feminine, bringing that back, and then we're going to have solutions to everything that's been done to us to undo that.
just an interruption. Uh, it won't let me call Tank.
Yeah, so I will.
So he must.
I'll hang up here and call him and ask him just to dial in normally, because normally when he hangs up from Zoom and calls back, sometimes it's better.
Yeah,
So,
I know. Just wanted to. We were talking about trying this out earlier, but okay, go ahead.
yeah, so that's all I got, really. I mean, just got some good stuff coming up. So just I sent you this stuff in Telegram if you want to post it on the link, and then I will skedaddle, call Tank, and ask him to call back in on his phone. Yeah, I don't think you can ever reach him on Telegram, is what I've understood.
Yeah,
So.
that's true. It does appear that I'm not able to contact him
Via Telegram. Okay.
via Telegram.
All right, I'll let him know. Good chatting with you, Dan.
All right. Bye, Lisa.
Talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.
Failed to connect. Tank is the only one. Oh well. So we can see that there's been a lot of things going on with trying to do a live broadcast and trying to make our it sound good for everyone. Now I worked on my sound with someone and we went back and forth with the production team, right, to make it work better. I hope this sounds much better. Um, but of course, now getting Tank into the mix is a little different. So there are some things we can try that will, probably get those guys that are at their desks turning knobs and trying to get us off from our subject. And there's Rotten David Steele, saying, "Oh no, he's caught on to us." Well, all right. So while we're waiting for Tank to come back on, I've got something else to share with you. Let me go ahead and share the screen again. This is a little video of a guy that really nails what the China virus is all about, right? The scare tactics, the panic. So it says right here, this guy nails the current state of COVID panic. Only 432 views on this side. but let me go ahead and play it.
I thought the coronavirus was all around me. Who wasn't wearing a mask? Who weren't wearing gloves? Some lady was standing 5.5 feet away from me. I don't know what to do anymore. Who do I listen to? Do I listen to the experts on TV or the experts on Facebook? What happened to Dr. Fauci? How come he's on the news conference anymore? What did they do to Dr. Fauci? Oh my God! Did a spaceship land in a rose garden and take him away to a different planet? Oh my God! I gotta calm down. I gotta calm down. Oh my God! What if the viruses aren't here? What do I do with the gloves and the mask? What if the viruses are these? How do I get rid of them? I don't want to put them on the street. That's not nice. I'll get rid of it later. Oh my God! I touched the steering wheel. What if the virus is on the steering wheel now?
Yes, this is very amusing, isn't it? You know, this guy has totally nailed it, right? Well, there's Dan Bongino. He had a good broadcast. Also, I want to point yourself the In Pursuit of Truth today, Shadow Diplomacy in Pursuit of presents. This is excellent, excellent work from Sir Patrick Mack. So please go to, because it really goes into depth and detail, if you would like to get the depth and detail of what is really going on, this shadow government, how long ago this was planned. And what I took out of this was, I found pretty interesting, was that how far back they planned mail-in ballots as a reaction to, you know, the spread of this pandemic. That was part of their insurance policy. It wasn't just about, you know, the Mueller investigation. It wasn't about all of these, you know, pitfalls in the impeachment. It all of it was planned out. They knew what they were going to do, and whether or not they were also knew that this was coming, and that as part of their original plan with Hillary being as president, and they just had to adapt it, which I think is probably what happened. To know how much of this had continued on after Obama left office. You heard that Obama set up his own White House down the street from on Pennsylvania Avenue. He had another White House brewing. Right, he was going there. That was his daily going there, and they had a shadow a State Department on one floor that was set up by Hillary, and this was cleared out, right, by Trump. But this also goes into showing how what this particular part is talking about. Trump White House weighs plans for private spies to counter deep state enemies. Right, and this is from December 2017. All right, so they knew from the very beginning that they needed to basically have their own spy network, their own operations to counter the deep state, the hidden enemy, the invisible enemy. All right. So there's something else. Here's one more. Now,
Dan, real quick before you move on, Tank, he's blocked from calling back in, so just let you know. I think they're blocking him in every way, so just wanted to let you know that.
No, thank you for telling me. I kind of figured that it seemed like if I can't call him, something is going on.
Yeah,
so
he can't even dial out on his phone, so he's yeah. So I just want to let you know.
All right, we got it. Got it covered. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we'll continue here. Now, this is, I think, a very important. David Zubrick, whether or not you've watched him in the past or not, he has been part of the alternative media for a long time. He's not a newbie, right? He has sources, he brings up information. A lot of the same topics that we've talked about, he has brought up even from years and years ago, right? So now, sometimes I think that he is I believe he's genuine in what in the information he's presenting, whether or not what he's being fed is meant to kind of direct people in different directions. I'm not so sure if some of that is occurring or not, but that happens to all of us. So I'm just saying. But in this case, I think this is a very good one. Now, we're just going to go into a little bit of this here. So here's David Zubrick.
We're here with Truth Unsealed Live, where you'll learn what they don't want you to know. We have breaking news at this hour. There has been a sealed indictment against Dr. Anthony Fauci, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. This is absolutely unbelievable. It is breaking now, and we want to bring the story to you as quickly as possible. But first, if you are currently working out of your home, you know that a lot of us are working remotely. We're online. We're doing Zoom meetings. We're doing all kinds of things. We're using the internet. You need to have your online privacy protected. And there's no a 2-year VPN plan through Virtual Shield for all reports that we have been distributing to our viewers on another serious problem we have going on here in the United States right now, and that's the problem of child sex trafficking. Those of you who have heard of this Bundle Plus know what it's all about. If you haven't had an opportunity to get a hold of these reports, please do so, especially since within the next week or so.
And just to make a comment, so David Zubrick always supported himself by making these reports. I completely think it's a legitimate business model for him to basically support himself by doing this, and I would support anyone that wanted to go ahead and buy his reports. So it's a great model. I'm trying to bypass some of his internal commercials, but let's continue here.
Today through virtualshield.com/Zublick, and then email me a copy of the receipt for your purchase for that 2-year subscription. Else does on the story we are going to be breaking within the next week. You will have this story, and it involves the rescue of several thousands of children and the recovery of some bodies of children who could not be saved. This is absolutely unbelievable, but it is the truth. We're going to bring it to you. If you want an early copy of that report, which will be added to the Bundle Plus, please go to virtualshield.com/Zublick today, purchase a 2-year subscription plan, and email me a copy of the receipt to americatalks@hotmail.com today. And I will get you the Bundle Plus, including that advanced report. You'll get it before the end of next week so that we can have it ready for you before everybody else gets the information on our video channels and on our website. But breaking tonight, this is from a very, very credible source. Her name is Dr. Judy Byington. She has written several books, and she is, well, what I consider to be a first-class reporter whose work is extremely important, especially in today's society with regard to alternative news. And we wanted to bring this story to you. This is from Dr. Judy Byington, and we will be putting up her credentials at the end of this video. But here it is, folks. The United States Justice Department, on behalf of the President Donald Trump, has finalized a sealed indictment naming Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and the member of the Coronavirus Task Force, a traitor to the United States of America, according to Washington sources familiar with this issue. These are sources within the highest levels of government, some of them working within the United States Justice Department, some of them within the White House itself. The indictment, which currently is sitting on the Resolute desk at the Oval Office, charges Dr. Anthony Fauci with numerous high crimes and misdemeanors, many of which, according to Judy Byington, could see Fauci stripped of his medical license and deported to Guantanamo Bay for the rest of his natural life if he is convicted of these crimes. These charges reportedly include treason, conspiring with the enemy, and fraud. Article 2, Section 4 of the United States Constitution states, quote, "The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. While Fauci is neither a politician nor a government official, according to these sources, he is a career civil servant and therefore can be charged with criminal malfeasance as is outlined in Article 2, Section 4. Sources close to the Fauci probe said Trump became suspicious of Fauci's intentions after reading tweets linking the doctor to a deep state coup designed to cripple his re-election campaign. These tweets alleged Fauci and none other than former President Barack Hussein Obama had orchestrated a hoax to tank the economy, spelling doom for a president whose main presidential achievement was fostering an economic resurgence here in the United States of America. Now, these tweets surmise the coronavirus is a pretext for stripping Americans of the rights and freedoms that they hold dear, and that Fauci wants to usher in a new world order that would abolish the United States Constitution and replace U.S. leaders with United Nations personnel. Fauci's behavior at coronavirus press briefings further apparently fueled Trump's suspicions. Now, back on March the 20th, according to, again, Dr. Judy Byington, Trump called the State Department the deep State Department. That was not a slip of the tongue. Standing behind him, Fauci made a dismissive, you may remember this, hand gesture, dropped his head, and rubbed his forehead. Trump took it as a personal slight. Trump doesn't forgive or forget. According to Byington, he had his eye on Fauci, and Fauci's actions helped confirm the president's suspicions, according to this source. Moreover, Fauci has been a frequent guest on CNN and MSNBC, networks that often criticize the president's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. He has used his status as one of America's most notable physicians, Fauci has, to directly contradict Trump's messages, according to this indictment. The tweets, combined with Fauci's radical conduct, prompted President Trump to direct the Justice Department to investigate the Fauci-Obama connection. We are also learning that one of the reasons Barack Obama was not invited to the White House for the unveiling of his portrait specifically has to do with the deep state connections, not only the investigation into Trump's campaign and the deep state involvement in the setup for the Russia collusion and General Michael Flynn's indictment for perjury, but also this connection to Dr. Fauci. Investigators learned and apparently leaked data proving that in 2015, Obama instructed Fauci to authorize a $3.7 million donation to a Wuhan virology lab. Fox News and the Washington Post have run articles questioning whether COVID-19 originated at the Wuhan facility or perhaps here in the United States at Fort Detrick, Maryland, as we here at Truth Unsealed have reported, then illegally transported the virus to the laboratory in Wuhan, China, where it may have been further weaponized. Additionally, a wiretap on Fauci's phone and electronic devices has revealed that the doctor and the disgraced former president have kept a close friendship. Intercepted telephone calls and emails showed that Obama and Fauci had conspired to undermine Trump's authority by having Fauci give the president unsound medical advice in matters involving this pandemic. According to this indictment, first Fauci told Trump the virus was, quote unquote, nothing to worry about. Then he reversed course and warned Trump that COVID-19 would utterly ravage the United States of America unless martial law type steps were at once taken to curb the spread. All right, so that's where we're standing at this point with that. Now, think about this, folks. This is very important. This guy is giving Trump all kinds of advice.
Let me stop it there for a moment. So, well, actually, it's only about now 5 more minutes of this. I encourage actually probably you to go to his channel, David Zubrick channel. He's got 170,000 subscribers, and watch the rest of it. I encourage you to do that. That gave us quite a lot anyway. So let's talk about that. So okay, so I just saw the message from Lisa. Sorry. So all of the things that we have discussed, have now come true, right? We've been talking about these different aspects of Anthony Fauci, that he was against masks, early on in this. He also said that it wasn't going to be a big deal, and those things, that Trump did to stop it early, what he was against, like shutting down the number of people coming from China, basically stopped the flights coming in, and then tested those people that came in to see if they had a fever. They basically did wise steps. Fauci was against that. And all of the things that Fauci has been doing, like, look, he just started wearing a mask after, first saying, oh, masks are for people that are the ones that are sick, not to prevent from getting sick. And then he flipped that around, right? So, and so many other things that were about his past, right, that have come out, that, of him actually patenting different aspects of the HIV virus. And so did Burke. And so did the other guy, Rainman, I think is the other one. And these are all acting in a criminal way, in my opinion. All right, that they seem suspect, right, in how this has all come about, because all this stuff about social distancing and stay at home, it made no sense from the beginning. How you quarantine the people who are not sick? You quarantine the people that are sick. You don't stop society. But there was another plan, another agenda at play here. And if this does come about, we can see how will this play out? How will this, if Fauci is now brought up on charges of treason, that means he's treason acting with who? China. Who else is end up acting with China is going to also be looked at treasonous. Could you say a lot of members in Congress? Of course, a lot on the Democrat side can be associated with China, and on the Republican side as well, but probably way more are tied in with China on the Democrat side. Look at the governors that are dealing with and acting as dictators. What did they think was going to happen? What was their reality that they were planning for, and they're continuing to make happen? Right? Is that they would be the little dictators of their particular little states. So it's amazing how this is all coming about, but I see this as really to be made an issue for the upcoming election. That this was meant to cause people to do mail-in ballots so that they could steal the election. Now people will know that Fauci was a traitor. The other people associated with this are traitors, and the aspect of asking for mail-in ballots is treasonous. And that's my opinion here on the front lines. I think this is a good place to end. I appreciate everyone for what you showing up and giving us your time, and for everything you do to help move us forward. We are going through growing pains. We're going to be doing a lot of different types of things to package our shows differently so people can get a smaller, like this. We're usually over an hour. So where are we at right now? No, just under an hour. So as David Zuber moved us forward. So, and we just ask you to come along with us. Do participate when we ask you to go to another channel, when we ask you to share these links. Do that. It does help. It really does. It's a small effort, but has a big effect. And if you like to get involved in bigger ways, please do. If you if you feel inspired to do a YouTube channel, happy to help you. I did one not too long ago. Help someone, go live. And we just went live and get them up and going. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to take that first step, to put your foot forward. So putting someone up on the air right on the spot, really good way to do it, right? Because then you've already done it. Nothing to be afraid of in making that first step. Let's not live in fear. Let's live in abundance, and let's get rid of scarcity, and let's go forward and make a brand new world, because we've got a lot of work to do. Until tomorrow, we'll see you. Bye-bye.